Hi, welcome. What does it mean to suffer? What does suffering mean to you? What causes you to suffer? Is it something that happened to you? Is it something that is happening to you right now? Is it something that you are remembering, putting together in your mind about something that happened at another time, or that might happen in a future time that is unpleasant or painful or devastating, terrifying, threatening? The cause of suffering is those thoughts we have about what is happening, what has happened, and what might happen. Yes, there is pain, and yes, there is, in that moment, suffering from that pain. But after that, the pain's gone. When the pain's gone, when the blister is healed, when the gash is no longer bleeding, the physical suffering is ended, and yet we all suffer. Very curious, isn't it? One of the reasons we suffer, besides the physical pains that we're remembering back and forward in the past and in the future, is fear of a repeat of something from the past, and we bring it forward into the present or into the possible future, and we see it everywhere. We suffer at the cause of our thoughts. As a man thinketh, so is he. If we think thoughts of suffering, we suffer. If we think thoughts of wholeness and healing, we don't suffer. And it's not that we're cold and calloused and we don't care about that some people are suffering, but most of us that do suffer are at the suffering of our own thoughts, because those thoughts lead to our feelings and our actions. And we remain where we are as a result of the seeds of thought which we planted. We don't even have to know how to be a gardener in order to drop a seed. I mean, the story of Johnny Appleseed is he just, threw seeds along the side of the road, and then we have all these apple trees. That's kind of the way I garden. It either works or it doesn't. But our seeds of thought always work. They work. And they fashion our suffering and our joy. I'm going to sing the song for you now. It's called, I Will Suffer Silently. We can suffer really loudly. We can wear suffering like a badge of honor and say, yes, this happened to me. And it's hard, but I'm handling it. And we can do that and suffer silently, but not so silently, because really nobody can actually suffer silently, because all of our energy is going out at all times. So if you get too close to somebody who's suffering a lot, you're going to feel that energy, and it might really suck you in. You might want to help them, but if they're not willing to be helped, they'll just suck you in. I've done that before many times, and I've learned since to keep my distance. When I was in college, I took a WSI class, water safety instructor, and it was back in the day when you actually put your life on the line as a lifeguard. They didn't have the crook things where they could put out there and the donut thing. They didn't really use those. I think they must have existed, but we were supposed to get in there. We had to get around the person and around their neck and around their waist. And when they started trying to drown you, we learned escapes. And it was like, it was body hand-to-hand combat. It was terrifying. And I'd almost drowned a couple times before in my youth. And so it was talk about suffering. I was drowning again anyway. So when we suffer, it's a result of our thoughts. And I got lost in that story because it is a terrifying one, the drowning one. And so when we get lost in those kinds of stories in our head, we aren't in this moment. And when we're not in this moment, we don't always act appropriately. So suffering silently, sometimes just like they would grab me and they were trying to drown me, if somebody is suffering very loudly and we're in their energy, vortex, it can really suck you in and you can go down. I will suffer silently. You will never have to see me cry. I will suffer silently, alone. No, you'll never know why. We'll talk about the weather. We'll talk about the kids. We'll talk about whatever's off of my mind. Came into this world alone and I cried like a baby. I will suffer silently. You will never have to see me cry. I will suffer silently, alone, and you'll never know why. I will suffer silently. You will never have to see me cry. I will suffer silently, alone, and never know why. Even if I tried my mind to tell, couldn't dry the tears that fell. You do your thing and I'll do mine, and we'll touch from time to time to time to time. I will suffer silently. You will never have to see me cry. I will suffer silently, alone. Never know, I will suffer silently. You'll never have to see me cry. I will suffer silently, alone. Oh, you'll never know why. Like a game where no one wins, we play in time till it ends. Move your piece too close to mine, and tears will form in your eyes. I will suffer silently. You will never have to see me cry. I will suffer silently, alone. No, you'll never know. I will suffer silently. You will never have to see me cry. I will suffer silently, alone. No, you'll never know. And you'll never know. In 7th grade, I became aware of the whole, how are you? I'm fine. Wait a minute. You don't really mean, how are you? That seems fake. That seems deceptive. And I guess that's part of suffering silently. We have a public persona only so that we can get things done, not so that we deny who we are, and not so that we don't have a safe place to take our suffering. There's a scripture that says to go to your Father in secret, go into your closet and pray, and your Father in secret, to your Father in secret, to your God, to your Creator. And your Creator will reward you openly. There's a saying that says suffering purifies the soul. And the only reason I can think of that is as being accurate in any way is that when we do suffer, I know when I suffer and I go into my closet, I am made whole, and it's not my doing. It's my doing to go into my closet and pray. It's my doing to go into my quiet place. It's my doing to meditate, and it's my doing to receive that gift. I have to receive it. If I am a sailboat, I don't know much about sailing, but I know if I'm a sailboat and I don't put my sail up there, it's not going to carry me. The wind can't be caught in that sail. So if I don't receive that gift of grace, that serendipity, that synchronicity, whatever you want to call it, that's something other than you, not coming from any part of you that you're really consciously aware of, but through you, to lift you out of that suffering. And a lot of times answers are given in that place. And sometimes not even answers, but just a reprieve, as if you are going from a crowded city into a beautiful countryside or the ocean, or a place where you can be in nature and receive respite. So the suffering is in perspective. When we suffer silently, it's not to deny that we suffer. It's just not to vomit all over everybody else. When we suffer silently, it's to look into the why of the suffering and realize that actually we are the cause. Not to judge ourselves and beat ourselves up. Not to hammer in self-rejection because, well, I'm suffering, it's my fault, I'm a bad person. It's those thoughts, I'm a bad person, and I'm not good enough, and that self-rejection that's causing the suffering. And so we've got to put together in our memory boxes reasons to accept ourselves, to appreciate ourselves, to remember the parts of ourselves that are not fragmented, that are together. We're a big jigsaw puzzle. We don't have to have all the pieces all at once. That's okay. I'm Sarah D.